if you're going to be wildcarding in game week 8, I would really advise you to stick to this video and make sure you watch till the end, because what I'm about to say is very important and you're going to be needing this to set up your wildcard team ahead of game week 8. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. It's the FPL Pundit here, and in this video we are going to be doing a wildcard team selection for game week 8. So if you're new to this channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notification icon so that anytime I post a new video you are going to be aware. And without further ado, guys, let's get straight into the video. So now, wildcard is giving you the review of wildcard again. Wildcard is used in Fantasy Premier League to overhaul your team, to, you know, if you've been having bad game weeks or you're having a lot of players who are injured or something, or you just want to make multiple transfers at the same time and you don't want to take point hits for that, that is the time you use wildcard. And you get 2 wildcards every season, one in the first half of the season and one in January, for that is the second half of the season. So moving on to the wildcard team selection, the first thing you want to do when selecting a wildcard team is not just to select players based on the current points they have, because they are the top performing players currently, then you begin to select them. No, you don't do that in Fantasy Premier League, because the fact that a player has performed well so far doesn't necessarily mean that they are the same set of players that will be performing in the coming game weeks. So what do you want to do first? The first thing you should do is go to the fixtures ahead, and you look at the fixtures ahead for at least the next, if you're going to be planning a wildcard team, you should be looking at least 5 game weeks ahead, and okay, with a minimum of 3 game weeks ahead, but you should be looking up to like 5 game week ahead, and because you're trying to set up this team for the long term. So the first thing you want to do is look at the fixture difficulty ranking ahead. So you'll be looking at at least the next 5 game weeks, how this team have good fixtures ahead of the next 5 game weeks. So the first thing you're going to be doing is you avoid weak teams. When you're avoiding weak teams, you want to make sure that you avoid teams that have very difficult fixtures ahead. Now we're going to be looking at, I'm not going to start talking about all the teams and the fixtures ahead, but from what you can see, once you see that a team is having multiple reds within the same time frame, within the same period of time, avoid players from that team, except if they are a top team like Manchester United or Chelsea or any of those. Now we see that the likes of Watford is having really difficult fixtures for at least the next 2 game weeks. So I actually advise you to stay away from Watford players. So without wasting much of your time, let's just look straight to the major teams that have cool fixtures ahead. So we're going to be making our team selection based on this based on these statistics. So we see that after Brentford plays against Chelsea, they're going to be having very cool run of fixtures. So that means it is time to get Brentford players back. Then followed by Chelsea. Chelsea's next 5 games, or shall I say Chelsea's next 6-7 games are actually cool. Within the next 8 game weeks, we see that within the next 7 game weeks, we see that the only tough team Chelsea has to play ahead is Manchester United. So Chelsea, that means we're going to be taking players from Chelsea, and the next team we're going to be making selection from is, I think, Everton. We're going to be making some selections from Everton. We're going to be making some selections from Leeds United. To looking at Leeds, they have a really cool run of fixtures ahead. Then we'll look at Leicester City. Leicester City, after playing Manchester United, have cool fixtures, but let's just wait and see how we select the team and which players can still make it up into our squad. We see for Manchester City, irrespective of their fixture difficulty ranking, we should definitely have a Manchester City player. I wouldn't advise us to get a Manchester City attacker, because currently the whole squad has been in much rotation, except for the defense that has been quite consistent. So we'll be looking into Manchester City's defense. And moving on from that, we see that the next cool run of fixtures is coming from Southampton. So our wildcard team selection is going to be coming from these major teams: Southampton, probably Spurs, Man City, Liverpool, and others. So now going back to the team selection for wildcarding, now there are some players that are very essential to your team that you definitely must add to your team. You can't just do without these players throughout the Fantasy Premier League. These players are very impressive and are very necessary for the entire season. So these are the first players you should try to make sure they are added to your team, and after then you can start subsequently picking up other players to your team. So the first player you want to look at is Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah is selected by 60% of managers by now, I think, and he is very essential to your squad. Now currently Ronaldo is not essential to your squad. Manchester United have been inconsistent and they don't really have cool run of fixtures, but looking at Mohamed Salah, he has a proven track record already in the Fantasy Premier League, yes, or Premier League as we can say. So Salah is very crucial to your squad, and currently the next players you're going to we can be sure of are Chelsea defenders. We're going to be looking into Chelsea defenders, and the player I would like to add to the squad is Aspilicueta. Aspilicueta is just 6 million, and it's really cool for you to have him. I signed him in my previous game week in my other team where I signed Aspilicueta and he got 2 assists. And we're not selecting Aspilicueta because he has performed in this coming game week, but in the long run, it's better to have Aspilicueta because of his positional play in the Chelsea team. And also consider the fact that when Reece James come back, Aspilicueta's position is kind of going to change. So just stick to the news, and immediately Reece James come back, you should consider replacing Aspilicueta with Reece James or having the 2 players. But I will advise you actually have at least 2 Chelsea defenders ahead of the coming game weeks. So one other Chelsea defender I would like to sign. Because before I bring in that Chelsea defender, let's sign players from the attack. So another essential player you're going to be needing for Fantasy Premier League wildcard is Antonio. Antonio is a very essential player. You could add Antonio to your team. And between Vardy and Lukaku, Lukaku has cool fixtures ahead, so I would rather you go for Lukaku rather than Jamie Vardy. Although Vardy has been impressive, and we see that Iheanacho has also come back and is ready to perform in the coming game week. So in the midfield, we have Salah already. Another player I'm going to be adding to the midfield is Andros Townsend rather. Andros Townsend has been on my watch list, and he's been one player I've advised a lot of managers to sign ahead of time. So Andros Townsend is making it to the team. And in this last position, I'm going to be giving it to not Saint Maximin exactly. Saint Maximin is quite expensive. I'm actually thinking of giving it to Joshua King, since Dennis is 5.3. Joshua King, I hope Joshua King is not injured. But if Joshua King is injured, then I'll just give it back to Dennis. Joshua has a knock, so I think Emmanuel Dennis has how many points does Emmanuel Dennis have? Emmanuel Dennis have 24 points already so far this season. He's not injured, and there is international break currently. So if I bring in Joshua King to the squad, I don't think it's going to be a bad idea, even if he's looking like he has a knock or he's quite injured, because we still have 2 weeks to make changes. So now this team we're actually selecting currently, know that until the game week deadline, you can still keep changing the squad to how you like. You can still keep testing out players to see how they are going to line up in your team ahead of the coming game week. So for now, we are going to be adding Joshua King, and if you notice that ahead of the game week he's going to be injured, okay, he has a knock, so you see he can still get back. Ahead of the game week he's going to be injured, you can just take out this player and replace him, and you will still not be charged for anything. So the next player I would like to bring up to this attack is Lukaku, and I'm adding Lukaku here. So going back to the defense, we want to bring in also, I said something about signing Southampton defenders also, because Southampton has cool fixtures ahead. So to bring in Southampton players, let's just go to Southampton and bring in players from Southampton. We see that okay, to bring in players from Southampton, Ward-Prowse has been banned for at least the next 3 game weeks, so we won't be looking at Ward-Prowse. And now we'll be looking at Livramento. It's just 4.2 million. So as we're selecting the squad too, we want to make sure we're not buying too many expensive players, because if you have too many expensive players in your squad, you will not be able to lock in the transfers. You won't be. We have to allocate funds. We have to allocate funds in a way that the defense is balanced, the attack is balanced, and the strike force is also balanced. So signing Livramento, and I would have loved us to bring one more Southampton defender, but I don't think we're going to be doing that. So the next player I want us to bring into the team is at least one Liverpool defender. So the Liverpool defender I would choose to bring to the team is Joe Matip. So we're keeping Matip back in the team, and Tsimikas is 4 million. I don't really want to think I should bring back Tsimikas for now. So we're going to be looking at Manchester City, and we'll be bringing in Cancelo to the team. Cancelo has been really awesome. Ruben Diaz as well, but Cancelo's positional play gives him that leverage to get into the attack, get goals, and get assists, even if the team doesn't get a clean sheet. So Cancelo is making it to the team. For the goal post, it's still going to be Guaita for me. And Raya, yes, look, I'm going to be restoring Raya, because Raya has cool fixtures ahead. Brentford's fixtures ahead is actually impressive, just immediately after Chelsea. So these are the 2 keepers I'm actually going to stick with ahead of the coming game week. So also still in the attack, we have 26 million point one to still spend, so we can still have cool players ahead in the attack. So in the attack, I want to think that I'm going to be keeping for midfielders, we're going to be keeping I've signed Townsend already. So I think we're still going to be going with the old squad. But Mane, I would have actually loved to sign Mane, but Mane is looking really expensive. But if you have Salah already, you necessarily don't have to bring Mane in. But the fact that Mane is being impressive so far is actually cool. But if you look at it, Mane is not the only impressive player. There are other impressive players out here, like the likes of Benrahma. So Benrahma is going to be making it back to the squad, and I think we're going to be keeping Son to the squad. Son is currently Son is on 42 points, and that is way more points than Mane. So we're going to be keeping Son in the team. We're not going to be selling Son. Son is a player to actually hold for long term, irrespective of how Tottenham has been performing. As long as Tottenham is still trying to struggle, and they have a good coach, so I think you should keep Son in the team. So another play, we have 9 million left, and we are going to be signing one more defender and one more midfielder to lock in the transfers. Another player I would like to bring to the team is Kovacic. But before I bring in Kovacic, I'll bring in another Chelsea defender before I forget. The Chelsea defender I'm bringing in is Chalobah. Chalobah is really impressive, and we have 4.9 million to lock up this squad. And remember I said something about having at least 2 Chelsea defenders. So now I'm having Azpilicueta and Chalobah, and I think that is actually okay. I don't know if Chalobah is going to play in the coming game weeks, but I would still rather have Chalobah at 4.8 than not have him at all. Look at it now. He has given in the last few game weeks he has played, he has just been impressive. He hasn't played in majority of the game weeks, but he's going to be a very cool substitute. He played against Crystal Palace, got cool points, 14 points. Played against Aston Villa, 6 points. Now he played against Southampton and has gotten 11 points. And because of his performance in the few game weeks he has played, we could see Tuchel actually giving this guy more playing time. Yes, Wang is a player you should get. Don't make me before I forget. While you're keeping Antonio and Lukaku, Wang is a player you should keep in this team. So I think we'll be going for Wang at 5.5. We could see this guy perform a whole lot better in the coming game weeks. And looking at it, still, Watford have some very tough fixtures ahead. So Watford is a team you should actually avoid picking players from currently. So Wang is going to be replacing him. I almost forgot about Wang. Sorry guys. So Wang is going to be replacing Dennis, and we're still owed 4.9 million. So I think we'll just randomly fill up this 5.9 million to sign a midfielder, and I think we should just go for a player who is not going to be playing at all. So at least we have a little bit of change in the squad to make any other transfer if we want to make another transfer without having to worry. So I think the player I'll be bringing for that cause is Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz is playing for Aston Villa, and I think he's a very attacking player. So Douglas Luiz is going to fill up the squad for me. So we have 0.4 left in the bank. We've made this is how I would advise you to select your wildcard team ahead of game week 8. So now I'm not exactly saying this is the exact players you should buy for your wildcard in game week 8. This is just like a template of how you should select your team. So try as much as possible to go for Brentford players right now. Go for Chelsea players as well. Go for at least one Liverpool defender, and Salah is essential to the squad. The only players I recommend you get for Manchester City are Manchester City defenders, and we've chosen to go for Cancelo in this team. Like I also said, have at least 2 Chelsea defenders in your squad, and your attack should just be mixed. I've signed Townsend, I've signed Salah, I've signed Son. If you don't want to go for Townsend, you have the option of taking Gray, but make sure you have one Everton player in your midfield. Then Benrahma and Antonio are also essential to your squad in the long term. In short, almost throughout the season, except otherwise stated, probably if they get injured or so. Now, also make sure you're having Lukaku because of the fixture ahead. I think among the top strikers, he has one of the easiest fixture ahead. Though he has been blanking, but we'll definitely see Lukaku bounce back and start performing again. Wang is the hottest player right now, so that is why he's currently in the squad. So thank you guys for watching this video. And let's just lock in the transfers, and let's see how the team can line up ahead of game week 8. So if you're going to be lining up these players ahead of game week 8, definitely would see that Azpilicueta is going to start in this game. Douglas Luiz goes to the bench. Chalobah is going to start, and it's better to keep Chalobah in the lineup and he doesn't play than keep Chalobah on the bench and he plays and he gets points. So Chalobah is going to be replacing I think he's going to be replacing Livramento. So Douglas Luiz. So Wang, I would like us to actually start Wang, but wow, this team is just so cool and looking tough that I don't even know how to make a team selection for the coming game week. Wang is playing against Aston Villa. I think I might just bench Townsend and keep Wang in the lineup. Okay, so we're just going to be switching it this way. So guys, this is how I would advise you to line up ahead of game week 8 after making this team selection. This is probably how the team is going to line up, but this lineup is still subject to change. The transfers as well are still subject to change because we have international break and we have the whole of 2 weeks to make our transfer. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you've gotten a good insight on your wildcarding team ahead of game week 8. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to turn on that post notification icon so that anytime I post a new video, you are going to be aware. Those are for the returning subscribers. But if you are new to my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you right in my next video, guys. Peace.